Hi there, Loy Machedo, speaking to you from loymachedo.com, and it was loymachedo.com. Today, the date is March 29, 2015. It's a Sunday, and the time right now is 7:35 in the morning. Today, I just have a special announcement to make. I've been giving a lot of thought to this, but I think finally I've decided that it's high time I made the decision. And the decision is I've decided to quit bodybuilding permanently, bodybuilding and powerlifting. I've decided no more. Now, this is after nearly, I think, 20 years of being in that sport. You need to understand that when I started bodybuilding, my weight was hardly, I think, 55 kilos. That is, when I was an athlete, when I was running, I was a pretty skinny guy. I didn't have muscles at all. I think I could hardly do a single push-up. I could not do even a push-up. I could not even lift a 5 kg dumbbell. I mean, I was that skinny. And the only thing that was working out well for me was the fact that I used to run. And from there, I started to do push-ups. It was the Arnold era where you would watch movies of Arnold Schwarzenegger and get inspired to train harder and, uh, get bigger, and big muscles was the in thing those days. So after the phase of being introduced to bodybuilding, let me just change this settings. I always have the settings where the screen just shuts down in 1 minute. Okay, so after I went to that phase, I decided I wanted to get bigger. I wanted to look like Arnold, and I started training. And yeah, see, it was a process of trial and error. If you'd ask every coach, I would ask had a different answer. So 10 coaches, if you'd ask them which is the best exercise for bicep, all 10 would give you 10 different answers. And eventually I started reading books: Flex, Muscle Fitness, Muscle Mag, Muscle International, Muscular Development. I started reading all these books. Every day I would go to the library and buy at least 10 books of these and read. It was a non-stop passionate desire to wanting to keep reading books. And very soon I thought myself, and then it came down to the part where I guess I grew almost 80 kilos. And you need to understand, I was young, my joints were soft, so that was no problem. Then I moved into supplementation. Then I started experimenting in India with a little bit of steroids here and there, just one injection here and there, which I just wanted to see what would happen. And eventually my body started to explode, and I was enjoying those days. However, in hindsight today, this is after the journey of powerlifting, doing really very heavy, exceptionally heavy. To give you an idea, I used to lift 185 kilos for a deadlift, 310 kilos for a leg press, 155 max for bench press, and I was doing skull crushers where lie down and you push weights for your triceps, and I was doing tricep push down with almost 150 kilos. So I was pushing power until the point where I think I damaged my joints, wear and tear, and I couldn't do anything else. Now, after I damaged my lower back, I could not do any more exercise, and then I had to quit bodybuilding for quite some time. 6 years, got into marathon running, and finally I decided, okay, let me see my comeback to bodybuilding. And yes, my body did respond. But today, why I've decided, even though my body is responding, why I've decided to quit bodybuilding is because my body doesn't respond and support the way it used to. I'm 38 now, and what happens is I'm trying running. I've tried running as a new sport, keeping myself fit, and because of the amount of mass and the amount of water that is retaining this mass, I am unable to run. Actually run even in a proper way, where I see old people who have not done bodybuilding, they're able to run these half marathons, even though in a slow pace, but they are able to run without huffing and puffing. And I am huffing and puffing as if I'm going to die, as if I can't breathe. And the reason for all this stress and pressure on the heart and on the lungs is because I'm carrying all this mass which is useful for strength. And I don't need this strength anymore. Actually, bodybuilding is a sport where you're trying to shape your muscle to look good. It's to show off. And I think I've reached the stage where showing off with this big body does not gain anything, does not help me in anything. I need to cut down now. I need to cut down on my mass. I need to cut down on the size I'm carrying. I need to cut down on the muscle that I'm carrying. The amount of oxygen, the amount of blood that is required to maintain all these joints, all these muscles, which is good for show, but then you don't use it. And, I'm no longer young. I need to keep in mind that as I get older, my health will not support this anymore. And if I can't carry my own body weight, if I can't run or sit and stand effectively with my own body weight naturally, I don't need this amount of muscle. So that is why I've decided to quit bodybuilding. You feel you feel a little sad because you've always loved the sport, you've always been passionate about it, but then you need to make these choices as age catches up, as priorities change, and you need to be sensible to know that what you need and what you do not need. For me, at this stage and this point of my life, I think I need to be more careful about my health, more smarter. I need to make those smarter choices, and I don't want to live a very long life, to be honest with you. I really don't want to live a very long life. I prefer living a short life and a quick death. But this has nothing got to do with that. This is more like a healthy lifestyle. And so I'm going to quit bodybuilding permanently. It's only going to be now keeping fit, being toned, being smaller, and most importantly, focusing on running. So I think my bodybuilding days are really over. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I think it's a beautiful sport. I think for those people who want to find an outlet whereby you get focused, you feel you're enjoying and doing something, bodybuilding is great. But it's more of a show-off sport. It's more of a sport where you shape the muscle and you feel good about being strong. But where you're talking of functional muscles in terms of running, in terms of sitting, standing, and doing core activities, that amount of muscle is not required for me. I've reached that point where enough. I'm happy. I've done it. I didn't achieve any accolades, but personal satisfaction was there. So now it's time for me to move on and give up bodybuilding and say goodbye to it. After 20 long years, Arnold, the bodybuilding community, Joe Vader, Flex, Muscle Fitness, Muscular Development, Muscle Mag, all you guys, thank you very much. Peter McGog was the editor-in-chief. Lee Haney, Frank Zane, Richie Gaspari, all these guys, Doreen Yates, all these bodybuilders, Mike Benzer, who laid the foundation for whatever I knew. Thank you so very much. Some of you are alive, some of you are no longer alive. It's been a pleasure. And now it's time for me to move on in my next phase. That is keeping fit, core exercise, stretching, and who knows, as I get older, maybe yoga. So Loy from LoyMachedo.com, and it was LoyMachedo.com, officially retiring from the sport of bodybuilding and saying it's been a great ride. So I think you're going to see me in a shrunk down version. I'm 94 kilos right now. You'll see me in a much more shrunk down version without the muscles and without the big looks, I guess. Loy from LoyMachedo.com, and it was LoyMachedo.com. Thank you very much for whoever supported me in the journey, and it's time to say goodbye to bodybuilding. That's it.